All right, sorry about that, guys. My internet went down, and so now it's back up. So now we're back on. Now we're waiting for Big Papa G and all of those guys right now. So give me a minute. They will be on. It should be interesting on how this all works. Yes, we were having some technical difficulties. You know, the joys of broadcasting in a new studio. Now I'm waiting for those two to come back on. I don't know what's going on with the Queen, so we'll see if she joins us. But yeah, we are back live. I know we're waiting for Big Papa G and them. I'm surprised my other esteemed co-host that usually there's Daddy Ed, so let me get him back on. Hello, sir. Sorry, we had a technical difficulty. My internet went out.
You can hear me?
I can hear you.
All right.
Yeah, I can hear you now. So now we're waiting on Big Papa G to come back on the show. But Ed, so let's talk about what we actually Ed, let's talk about what we got going on Monday at 8.
Well, we have to answer one question first.
Okay,
we had a fan that made the comment that so far that the Battlehawks had 3 of their wide receivers taken by the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to update that and say it's actually 4 because Marcel Aitman has been signed by the Bills.
That is true.
So now you got Butler, Aitman, Jennings, and Shepard. All 4 have been signed. So we are literally, other than Austin Prohl, pretty much starting from scratch.
You know what? You're absolutely right. With I mean, our entire wide receiver core is gone. Oh, there you go, Big Daddy Ed. Did you forget to silence your phone? We have technical difficulties, and then you forget to silence your phone. That's funny. But yeah,
my phone is silenced.
Oh, so what was the ding then?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I know one ding.
Where's Big Papa G? No, you're right. I mean, now we got the draft coming up here very soon, right? So it's gonna be interesting to see. Are we gonna go for receivers? You know, and if you remember when we had Coach Beck on, he said he was going for last year. He was going for hands, right?
Yeah, this year he totally changed his tune though. He wants speed. I think he wants to take full advantage of the dome surface, and he wants wide receivers that are full of speed.
Right, exactly. And and that's what he said. He goes, he wants speed. He wants speed this time around, right?
Yep.
So it's going to be interesting to see how this how it plays out. Now, you know, as we've seen, they've talked about it on XFL.com that the draft will not be advertised, but you will be able to see it after the draft is done, right? You'll get to see the draft after it is done. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. You know, all right, here's Big Papa G. Let's bring him on. So there you go. Sorry about that, Big Papa G. Internet went out.
Okay, no problem. I just thought maybe you guys didn't want me, and I was like, okay, see you guys. Thanks for having me.
Right, yeah, exactly. So it's all good. But here, so we were talking about it. Here it is. So, you know, Russ had said the Battlehawk needs to draft wide receivers this Friday. We are going to lose about 4 of them. And we actually have. We've lost 4 of them. The only one we did not lose was Austin Prohl. So, you know, that's the only one that we did not lose was Austin Prohl. So now, Big Papa G, I know you had it. I know you had some questions, so go ahead with your questions, and we'll go back more into the draft.
No, it was all good. It was just like I said, we were just talking more about the actual Battlehawks and the community-wise. There was comments and questions, and even after the show, people were talking about and agreeing a lot of what 2020 did. That I think it was because of the original group in 2020, what they did for the Battlehawks and in the community is the reason why we ended up with such a big turnout when we came back on 2023. So a lot of kudos goes to the original crew that started all that. And I know you guys talked a little bit about that last week. And so I just wanted to find out and see, have you guys gotten more comments after the show? Because honestly, it's like what I anticipated and what we were all excited about when we first saw them at a couple of these locations is like, okay, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. And then it kind of didn't happen. It wasn't the same as 2020.
Right. Yeah. Here we go. All right. So, speaking of that, here's Jeezy the King. He says, "Hey, Dirty Ed and Big Papa G, how are you? We are doing great." And then, as you see, my esteemed co-host, but his microphone is muted. Oh, there he is. This is just that we kicked Amanda out of the show tonight, I guess. Here's the list of BattleHawk players that have been signed: Akeem Butler to the Steelers, Luka Dennis to the Atlanta Falcons, Greg Jennings to the Carolina Panthers. Then you have London to the Atlanta Falcons, J.J. Smith, and to the Washington Commanders. Yes, Daddy Ed, what do you want to say?
It's +1. She doesn't have Marcel Aitman in there to the Bills. So
that is true. That is true. That is true.
Just want to keep it real.
Right, yeah. That's what Daddy Ed's there for. So I mean, Arlington, you heard what Big Papa G was asking about all of the stuff. What's your take on it all?
I mean, I actually just jumped in, so like I had just got off the phone with the Queen Hyena herself. So I'm really trying to figure out what's going on at this point. I just jumped in, so you're gonna have to kind of help me out a little bit.
Big Papa G, explain to Arlington what you said.
What'd you think about what the battle? Again, A-Train wasn't really here a lot in actual St. Louis, but I know he knew a lot what was going on and what wasn't going on. Total difference of 2020 community relations of introducing the BattleHawks to St. Louis and what 2023 did was the total difference. It wasn't the same.
Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. It was a big total difference. Granted, you have to remember that I'm going to give some of them the benefit of the doubt. Some of the employees that were getting in with the BattleHawks came in like at the last minute, so they were rushing. So it's going to be difficult for them to make anything work at this point to make it like it was in 2020. You remember they had a head start in 2019 getting everything together, and they were able to do, which I would love for them to do again, is to do these what were they, Dirty? You remember them?
The town halls or whatever they were doing. The
town halls.
Yeah, the happy hour.
But the thing was that to me, it's like they went more commercial. Like they didn't go with the local mom. They didn't go to Murphy's. They didn't go to local places. They decided to say, hey, we're going to go to the big ones. They're going to pay the money to use the BattleHawk name and the XFL name, and we're going to give it to them. And the sad part about it was that the first 2 or 3 games, especially the first 2 games, because I know that for a fact, a lot of people were going to some of these places, and the owners there, the managers there, didn't even know that they were showing the BattleHawk game. That's how sad it was. So I mean, to me, it was just like I thought that they were going to fix that, but it seems like they really never took control of it at all. They just left it alone.
Yeah, it was last minute getting everything in order. They didn't really have a lot of time like they did in 2020, where they were able to do the BattleHawks bar network. Remember that? Where they were able to go to neighborhood bars and have them buy into the BattleHawks and showing the games on television when there were away games to help build business. So they weren't able to get out into the community as much. Same thing here in Houston. As much as we want to say that they did, it was just like it was before. Everything was more national than it was local. And I get it to an extent. You want to make sure that you get the name out there and that you're getting the brand from the XFL out there. But hey, the communities are backing you. And because exactly the other thing that Kevin said, that they went to high schools. It went to area high schools in St. Louis to build that back up. And again, I have to throw his name out there, but not because he didn't do a bad job. It's because he was given a short amount of time to make it work, and he didn't have it where he could do everything. That's Brandon Williams.
Mhm.
Brandon Williams over the marketing and the engagement of the fans, and so he didn't have a lot of time to do that.
So here's what I want to let's go there. I mean, this thing has been beaten to death with all of that stuff, right? So like the biggest news right now is we have the draft coming up, right? Like Ed said, we have 4 receivers that are completely gone from the XFL, right? Now see, like Leo says right here, like why no live follow on the draft? What do you all think about that? Here's my opinion on it, right? And then actually it goes kind of with this comment up here. The draft list will be the leftovers of 2023 leftover list, the NFL draft list players that were not taken. So I'm looking at it this way. This, to me, I have a feeling this is going to be a very, very fast draft. A very, very fast draft.
Mhm.
I don't think it's going to be like we saw in Vegas, Arlington, over 2 days. I think this is just going to be boom, 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 one right after the other, right?
Right. As a matter of fact, I seen in Houston, for Houston, that is, the director of player personnel, Mark Lillibridge, he said that his draft board is complete. Went online and said his draft board is done. So it's all we got to wait now is to the actual draft itself, just to see what the picks were. And
so Kevin says right here, a lot of skipping. Now, Daddy Ed, I know you been looking at it and seeing what players are going to be out there and stuff like that, right? What do you keep doing? I'm trying to get this. There you go. A lot of skipping. I don't think there is going to be a lot of skipping in the draft. I think teams are really, because if you really look at it, I mean, we had how many players did we have signed to the XFL?
Well, you got 53 minus what we have, 7 or 8 that have been signed by the XFL.
yeah,
And then they're going to let you go up to 90 on your roster. So why wouldn't you draft like crazy and grab everybody you can and then weed them out later?
No, hold on. Right, John, here's what I'm saying. This draft is only going to be 1 day, and it ain't going to be as long as you guys think it is.
It's 80 picks.
80 picks, that's it. 80 picks. 10 rounds, 80 picks. That's all it is. That's all it is.
You don't have a lot of you have roster space, but that's what the showcases are for. That's what this draft is for, is to plug in the missing pieces for those that right, and then those that remain on NFL rosters. Because I hope that all of them, and that not just St. Louis, but all of them get on NFL rosters and remain on the rosters, not get cut. But if that's not the case, then they will return. They'll return back to their respective teams, and then that's going to make it a little bit more difficult to add more players to the mix.
Big Papa G just throws. He's on the show and he throws a comment up. Why just didn't you say your comment? Why didn't you just say it?
I don't want to interrupt. When A-Train talks, I listen. So
All right,
but my comment is for everybody. It's not just me.
Why don't you read your comment and let you take over this part of the show? Then
I'm just here watching.
No, read your comment. Read your comment. It's the Big Papa G show now, everybody. Welcome to BHawk Live.
Missouri will play Kansas City Chiefs, St. Louis Battlehawks in 2024. It may happen.
Coach Beck did respond and said that the Chiefs don't want that smoke, and I'm like, come on, Coach.
Big Dad, what do you think about that, huh?
They should play the Jets. They
should play the Jets. The Jets are Aaron Rodgers now.
You can have the coach, go up against his old team.
Yeah,
right.
It would be nice to see them at least play up, because usually these Division I schools in their preseason games are playing like the University of the Blind and Taco John's rebuilds. I mean, they play names you never even heard of before. So
only Big Daddy Ed would say that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
well,
Now,
right? chiropractic school for the overweight or whatever.
No.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'll see you in another year. Thank you so much.
I've lost complete control of this show again. Welcome to BHawk.
From a football standpoint, I mean, right now, I think from, losing Hakeem Butler is big, of course. Darius Shepard, losing him is another big weapon. All you're doing now is plugging and plotting for this roster. You know what I mean? So the Battlehawks are going to be looking at receivers again. You got to understand, that's what Beck loves. Beck loves that can catch and block. All right. And we got a lot of that this season, especially with A.J. McCarron's play.
Hold on, Arlington. Leo says, hell yeah, I'm overweight and I need a chiropractor.
I'm going to mute you for doing that. I'm going to mute you for doing that on your own show. That was silly.
I thought it was funny.
But I would say we didn't get to see the best of Marcel Aitman either. He just was getting healthy at the end of the season. I think we would have had a nice dose of him for the season if he could have stayed healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was like the team that he built. I told y'all, I even told Dirty, I said, Dirty, when Coach Beck was already like, I want receivers and backs that can catch the ball. I want the receivers that can block. That was their main thing. And having an offensive line that was able to keep A.J. McCarron on his feet. Granted, there were a lot of times he got sacked, but guess what? He was one of the top passers in the XFL, leading the league in touchdown passes. So they amounted for something. That's the reason why Coach Beck got what he wanted. That's the reason.
Look, here's the thing I'll say about AJ. You guys know I was critical with AJ throughout the year, right? I think if AJ would have played now, you guys tell me if I'm wrong or not. I think if AJ would have played the entire year, okay? I think if AJ would have played the entire year, didn't miss that one game, and the Battlehawks had a better record of 7-3, he possibly could have been the offensive player of the year.
Absolutely. There's no denying it. There's no denying it. But at the end of the day, I'm not taking anything against from Nick Tiano. Tiano did an amazing job in the chance that he got to step up and play. Right? So that's what you're supposed to do. Next man up. And he did his thing. But also at the same time, even in the 9 games that A.J. McCarron played, he still got 24 touchdowns. That means he even had more than your boy DiNucci. And he did it in 10 games.
Listen, you can't say anything about DiNucci. DiNucci has taken the Denver Broncos undefeated season.
You know what?
Undefeated.
Shut your mouth. Because I'm telling you, man, you sitting there talking about the NFL, and that ain't what we talking about, bro. We talking about what's going on in the XFL. I don't care anything about no Denver Broncos. Thank you. Anywho, if I have to take over now, I'll just do that. My thing is, when you come looking at this roster, man, Brian Hill is looking like he's coming back too, right? I haven't heard anything where he's gotten any invites or so. So there's a return for that. And then you keep the St. Louis bond with that. Okay. We did really lose 3 of our best receivers at this rate in the season. So, hopefully I would love to see them come back, but if they don't come back, next man up is next opportunities. Jake Sutherland, we'd love to see more of him when it comes to the next season. So that is right now, that's what I think their mindset is going to be. It's going to be receivers and linemen. Got to protect. So I'm very interested to see what's going to happen with this draft. I know it's going to be late, and they're going to do it in the evening when they drop all the picks. That means we're going to have to go and search them and see what they're all about. All these draftees. I mentioned a name out of St. Louis, Andrew Clare, a running back. Came out of Northwestern. Had a little bit rough in his senior year this past year, and he was trying to get in, had some work in with the Bears a little bit. He's a running back, so I want to make sure, hey, he get another opportunity. I think Mateo Durant even got an opportunity too. So there are going to be chances for offensive players to make their names known now with this Battlehawk offense if they make the roster.
So let's go with this right here. As you see, Leo says, and you guys here, let's kind of speculate how we think this draft is going to go. He's saying that the O-line draft segment should be first. If the one thing that we saw in the XFL this year, right, the O-line was probably the weakest.
The offensive line play really across the league must have been weak, because I can honestly say that the Battlehawks offensive line really struggled for most of the season. And when they gave out the awards at the end of the year, we had 3 offensive linemen. So that just tells me overall that the league as a whole could really stand to upgrade at the offensive line.
Well, we lost Arlington. I mean, Big Papa G, what do you think? Do you think that should be the first?
I think it should be the first. I mean, one of the things that people keep, we want to make sure we're losing players, and hopefully we're losing. I mean, this is the whole purpose of the XFL, right? Remember that. And I think some people need to remember that. Don't get too attached to some of our really good players, because they're not going to be here. They're going to, this is a stepping stone to go up to, the NFL. And so, it's great that we had a good year with them, but this is a rebuild. Now, I'm still trying to figure out and see if what's going to happen. Is the draft going to be faster, or is it going to be the same? I do agree. I do think it's going to be a lot quicker than it was originally. But
yeah, it is only going to.
We kind of already knew who they were going to get.
Right. Yeah. It is only going to be 80 picks. So it's going to be 10 rounds, 80 picks. So
all the coaches coming back? Because I know 1 or 2 of them are not coming back.
Well, Rod Woodson's not, and but I talked about that. I'll ask you about that. I'll ask you both about that one. Now, with the XFL, in my opinion, I'm not saying I know for sure. I'm just saying, in my opinion, I think that the XFL is in a very good spot for head coaches for Vegas. They have 4 great coordinators in place right now. One being a co-coordinator on a championship team. Used to be the former head coach of the St. Louis Battlehawks. Went to the Arlington Renegades and became their offensive co-coordinator, Jonathan Hayes. You have him. You have June Jones up in Seattle. You have Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator in D.C. And then you have, in my opinion, A.J. Smith, who is the dark horse of it all down there in Houston as their OC. I think it's going to be Jonathan Hayes. That's my opinion. I think he'll just slip right in, because that Vipers team was built for Jonathan Hayes to be. It was built for his team, like his Battlehawks were in 2020. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, but do you think any of those people you just mentioned a bunch of great people that why are they not moving up? Because we haven't heard, but some of those might be moving on to NFL also.
As of right now, we haven't heard any.
I know. And I'm not saying but I'm just saying, again, XFL is becoming, and we all knew this from the beginning. That's why jerseys are nice, but don't get excited about putting someone's name on your jersey, because they may not be here, So I'm wondering if some of these coaches are now going to have an opportunity to play in the NFL or go back to the NFL as a coach, so that's going to be interesting too, because we still got, a couple of months to go, but that might be a big key there too.
Jonathan Hayes has the demeanor of a head coach. Face it, Rod Woodson did not. He wasn't a good face for the league, because all the press conferences, the league doesn't want the fans listening to somebody blame the losses on the referees and all that stuff. And if you look at some of those coordinators that you're talking about, especially the defensive coordinator for DC, he may be a hell of a defensive coordinator, but the way he talks, is that really the face you want as the head coach on a XFL team? I just think Jonathan Hayes plays the role.
His name was the big key. Like,
right?
When they mentioned that they had him, that was like the key. So So that's why to me, not saying that he didn't know what he was doing, if he's the face or not, but having him on board and having that name was a big thing for the XFL for the first year, coming back.
Right here. Now, the King says, Hayes is who we need as our head coach out here in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I don't know. I can't say for 100%, but what I can tell you is that that's more than likely who it's going to be, in my opinion. There's other stuff that I dug through. You think he's?
Do you guys think that because of the $60 million or whatever that they lost, do you think that some of these people like Hayes, who already went through this crap in 2020, is even thinking about anything like that? Like, I'm wondering.
He's got unfinished business from 2020 because if you remember right, he was having a pretty good season, but he also it didn't end well. And so the fact that he came back in 2023 and was actually willing to be in the league again, there had to have been some talks behind the scenes that made it more than worthwhile for him to come back. So I think him getting the opportunity to be a head coach again may have been part of it.
And that's the same thing I was thinking, because when I saw that he came back, I'm like, interesting. Because don't forget, he was part of that whole suing, WWE or whatever it was, these fans and all that originally, because he never got his full pay.
Right.
So I was surprised, but I'm saying, I know it was new management and more stronger management, but there had to be something there saying, hey, we're going to give you a shot after the year because people are going to be moving on. And
correct, yeah.
Did you ever find out if any of these guys had a specific contract, like a year contract to coach or anything like that? Was that?
Well, I think Big Daddy Ed, you found out it was a 2-year contract, right? That a lot of these guys signed.
Yeah. Now, am I got it from 100%? We're good source. I don't know, but I heard that all the head coaches in the XFL signed 2-year contracts for the 2023 and 24 season.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So other people are saying, that they're talking about it. I see that there's all these comments. I can't even really keep up with all of the comments, but a lot of it's about the draft. The one that I saw is right here from Will Freeman, who welcome back, Will. He says the defense is pass rushers and secondary. Loss of secondary, and we were at the bottom for sacks.
You want some Big Daddy speculation?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
My Big Daddy speculation was that they knew going into the 2023 season that Rod Woodson was a real wild card and that they wanted to make sure that they had somebody in the league that would be able to seamlessly take that transition. And that's what I think the background talk with Jonathan Hayes is that, we know how 2020 went, but you give us another shot, you got first dibs on any opening head coaching jobs. That's the Big Daddy speculation.
That's what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. I think Jonathan Hayes will be named the head coach of the Vegas Vipers.
Okay, there you go. I'm liking that one. Look, that's what I'm saying too. Oh, look, she's back. The Queen herself is back. She had an emergency, and she had to leave. We're glad
you drank a Quick Trip. You didn't drop it off to me.
No.
Hey, did you see that comment by Joe? Thank you, Joe.
I did. I just said I haven't had time to put everything up. Now, Queen, we're talking about head coaches, right?
Mm-hmm.
Within Vegas, okay? Mm-hmm. With Jonathan Hayes being our head, the former head coach of the Battlehawks. Your dad's in agreement with me. Big Papa G's in agreement with me. We're all saying that that all signs are pointing to Jonathan Hayes to be the coach of Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on that?
You should have been already.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, plus he's an Iowa Hawkeye, so that should have gave him a leg up anyway.
You asked. I'm giving you my answer.
Fix your microphones. You're a little staticky.
What does Iowa Hawkeye turn out every year and every year and every year? Tight ends. Jonathan Hayes was a tight end, and now they're not only turning out tight ends, but they're turning out tight ends that become head coaches. So
hold on, Big Daddy Ed. Don't they also produce guys who can't catch the first 3 passes that are thrown to them?
That's Iowa State Cyclones. That's got nothing to do with the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure. I was just
totally different things.
Just making sure. I was just making sure. Now, Mike, who's a big contributor all the time, he says that they need to televise this draft. Look, I know a lot of us want to see this draft televised and televise it on YouTube or whatever. I just don't know why they're not doing it. I guess I could understand why they're not doing it. Why do you keep messing with your camera, woman?
Probably turn the volume down because your voice tends to linger. It was a little loud.
Look, this is the only smart person on this show right here. John David. He is right.
What do you want to talk about, Big Papa? You and I could just
coach of Vegas.
Just talk about something and let those two figure things out. But
I should be the coach of Vegas.
Put them in the same room. That's what we should do. We should put them in the same room.
Oh my God!
That way we can have one stream, and then they can fix themselves.
You guys see this? Look, you see this right here? Dirty is always right. So there you go.
I notice how you always put your comments all about you, never about Amanda.
See, like right here, Dirty would make the XFL Vegas Vipers the greatest team ever. That's what Jarrett meant to say. Now, here's the question I got for you guys right here. Bobby Wagner says he's really interested in joining the XFL.
As a coach or as a player?
As a player.
Oh my God.
As a player. Look, this guy here, he's a fool. I would not get 11 losses. I would go 10-0, and I would win the championship. I'd be the greatest head coach of all time.
Dirty will get 11 losses in a 10-game season. I love that one.
That's using dirty math. That's dirty math right there.
Dirty math.
That's why whenever I go golfing, I shoot 2 under par no matter how I play because I use dirty math.
Daddy,
that is good. I like that one.
You like golfing. We know.
Anyway, go ahead, Dirty. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is the X-Band show.
So we can definitely, I'll throw something real quick. We can definitely agree there is no expansion for 2024.
No, there's not.
Not if you lost $60 million.
Look, right here. The mayor says B-Wag's head coach in Seattle in 2025. Ooh. Interesting.
That's a good one.
Would you want to see? See, look, here's the thing. I know that B-Wag is on that 1-year retirement plan there in Seattle, right? I think I would love to see B-Wag playing another year in the XFL. Oh, the mayor's saying Hazlitt will retire. Okay. Like if the mayor's saying something, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna kind of agree to listen to the mayor.
I thought you was gonna agree with BHawk 1 that
he's saying
the Rock's gonna be the head coach in Vegas.
No, listen. If the Rock, I'm gonna make a plea right now to the Rock.
The Rock is not gonna make as much of an appearance next year.
Listen, I'm gonna make a plea to the Rock.
Smelling way he is cooking.
Right, Amanda, you gotta fix those. You gotta fix those headphones. Look, I'm going to tell The Rock right now. Okay, listen. Rock, Danny Garcia, Jerry Ganella, Doug Whaley, Ross Brandon. You're looking at your new head coach for Vegas right here. The one and the only Dirty. We'll be the Dirty Vipers. We'd be out there. We'd be kicking everybody's butt. And I just happen to like the city. I just happen to like the city of Vegas a lot. It's a great city, and I would literally As long as you had me as the head coach, I would never lose a game. I would win every single championship there is. I would be coach of the year. All of my players would win all the awards. I am your coach for the Vegas Vipers. Dirty calls it right now.
But I got the number one reason why you won't get it. If you want to get it, I got one suggestion for you.
Okay.
You got to get a haircut.
You gotta get access
The
to
league,
that
league
workout.
isn't going to let you stand on the sidelines looking like that.
Are you kidding me? Look at this. I got it. Look at my fade over here. It's a good fade. I got a great haircut.
Hey, I wonder if you become the coach, will you have?
Oh, you mean like this?
Will you have access to the XFL? Like,
yeah. You'd use all your challenges because you wouldn't be able to see what was going on in the field.
But I forget what show this is. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yeah. Welcome to the BHawk, or welcome to the Big Daddy Ed Show Comedy Hour. We're just living in Big Daddy Ed's world. I'm one of your hosts.
We need to have scissors come out of that sun.
So wait a minute. I just want to. I saw something on the comments. Sandy said, "Did we all forget they paid off the bills that Vince left?"
Right, they did. And see, that's the thing that I'm kind of dirty. May have a gambling issue with being a no. I don't like to gamble, so I ain't got to worry about a gambling issue at all.
You have to have money, so that's not going to happen right now.
Hey, listen, when I become the head coach of the Vegas Vipers, I'll have money. So that's all there is to it.
Yeah,
that's all there is to it.
Minimum wage per hour.
So you're saying
Oh,
there's
here you
not a
go.
chance.
Look, Mike's got a good one right here. The Ryan brothers in the XFL would be fun. What do you guys think of that one?
Hey, has anyone thought what happens if our coach gets
Nobody's gonna
an offer?
Nobody's gonna respond to that?
No, we're past
The Ryan brothers?
Nick.
Wow. Okay. Sorry, Mike. They didn't
No.
like your question.
I wouldn't necessarily disagree with you that Coach Becht will get an offer, but I think he's going to get one more year. And if he has a year two just as successful as year one, yeah, I think he's probably good chance he may be gone.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you got to remember, Big Daddy Ed, when we had Beck on the team, when we had him on the show a couple weeks ago, right? What was that? 3 weeks ago? Is that right?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
He talked about how he was in this for the long haul and wanted to build these players and mold these players to get to that next level. So I don't know if he would really want that grind as an NFL head coach. You know, because when we had his wife on,
he's been doing this before the XFL, and after he had finished, he's been doing this already with students. He has his own program, so that does make a lot of sense. But
And on that note, people, we will find out more tomorrow when we talk with Mr. Ricky Kroll about head coach too. So tune in.
your headphones are really, really bothering me.
Yeah, you're static.
yeah,
big time.
yeah. Sorry, Amanda. You know I always got your back, girl.
God,
As far as Leonardo with the Ryan brothers,
it's better.
I hope you are right. I hope Anthony Becht is here forever because I just think he's a class act and he's exactly what the organization needs.
But also the New York Jets may want him back, like to be a coach.
Oh, stop it.
When I say that I'm a Jet fan, I can't wait. Hey,
Yeah,
real quick,
right.
the Ryan brothers. You talked about the Ryan brothers would be interesting.
I think so.
I kind of got lost because I thought he was talking about the Bellamy brothers. So my back. That's just the DJ.
Ew, Big Papa G, you're a Jets fan?
I'm a diehard Jet fan.
Hey, the Jets do have, like, I know this ain't an NFL show, but they do have possibly one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game.
Don't be a naysayer. Ooh, see, here we go again.
Just saying.
Who's your man crush again? Who's your man crush?
Oh, Jay
Jordan,
Simpson
right?
should be
Jordan?
the coach.
So does that mean you might be a Minnesota Viking fan? Is that what you're telling me?
Butt fumble, yep. Oh my God, I remember that Thanksgiving with the butt fumble. I will never forget. I literally was all excited. The Jets are playing Thanksgiving. I was all excited. had a big party going on. I already ate like twice that day, getting ready for the game. That crap happens, and we end up watching, I think, the latest one from Will Smith and Men in Black. I literally turned off the game, and we started watching Men in Black, and I was done. I was.
So what do you suppose is going to happen if the Jets, just for sake of argument,
That's right.
start the season 0-2 or 0-3, and Aaron Rodgers has got to stand up in front of the New York media and take the bullets?
I think he'll be fine.
He's gonna. I mean, he's getting paid.
Yeah,
Everybody's all excited about Aaron Rodgers, and I was like, yeah, okay. I mean,
this is a guy right here. Look,
that thing I always have. Let me just throw this out and go back to BattleHawks. But the bad thing I always have.
Let's go back to BattleHawks.
The bad thing I had about the Jets is plain and simple. It's just like my Mets. Either we get players that were good in another team, and then when they come to us, they suck, or they get hurt, and we never see them again. Or we have players that do crap, and then they go to another team and become superstars. So
they're like
I'm not expecting much of the Jets. So if they have a great year,
right.
But
Let's get back to XFL. So let's play fantasy here, right? Let's play fantasy here. I like this idea. I would love to see Tim Tebow in the XFL. That's just my opinion. I think the XFL would be built for a guy like Tebow. All right, if there's one player right now that you guys would like to see in the XFL, who would it be?
Not
We'll go.
Tebow.
We're not Hyena. Wait your turn. Wait your turn.
Not Tim
Okay.
Tebow.
Again, we're just going to do this because she keeps jaw jacking. We're just going to mute her real quick here. We're going to go to Big Papa G. Big Papa G.
I got two.
Oh, you wait, okay. You got. I said one, but go with two.
No. I'll go. My first one is Kaepernick. Like, I would love to see him. I would love to see him.
I see. I'd be okay with that.
I would love to see him do it. And then the other one, believe it or not, would love to see. And it was so stupid because, well, I got three, but the other one, the second one I'm thinking about would be, and I'm going to say his name wrong, of course, from the Patriots or whatever, from New England. Yeah, Growski.
Gronk.
You're Gronk. I would love to see
Okay.
Gronk there.
All right.
Even if he came in as a coach, not a head coach, but if he came in, I would love to see him doing like a coaching job. But I would love to see Kaepernick back on the field at least one more time.
The Boz. The good doctors. The Boz. LOA. All right, Big Daddy Ed. Who would you like to see?
Well, who would be considered as Danucci Part 2? Is that a good enough of a hit? Who I'm thinking?
Why do you have to speak of his name?
You talking about Johnny Manziel?
Baker Mayfield.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Baker Mayfield would be full of attitude. You know that.
Oh my God! Did you guys see JM's answer?
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
Hey, that is a good call.
That's a good one, Ed. I do like that. I never even thought about Baker. I do like that one. All right, Hyena. Who would you like to see?
My dad took my answer.
Well, okay. Well, now you have to headbutting helmets. LOL. you got to come up with somebody.
Cut Amanda off until she gets a real mic.
Right. Yeah. Cut Amanda off till she gets a real mic.
That's a very good response too. For how many years have we heard that he's still got something left in the tank? Terrell Owens.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Brock Lesnar.
You know who I want back? Mm-hmm.
Who?
Oh, Brett Favre. You know.
Oh, stop. Okay, hold on.
Excuse me.
Hold on. No, she's getting muted. Brett Favre's 60 years old. Stop it. Brett Favre's 60 fucking years old. Goddamn XFL. What is wrong with? Come on. Oh, look.
You know what? Let's bring back Sanchez. Sanchez would be good to bring back.
Right, look. Right here. Mason Rudolph or Zach Wilson. Yeah, I could handle that.
What about Sanchez?
I can see Sanchez.
I can see Sanchez coming back.
You could ultimately. I do kind of like that Zach Wilson because
You too.
for a guy that's got a lot of talent, maybe this would get him the reset that he needed.
Hey, John brings up a good point right here. Kirk Cousins, since he sucks. I mean, that would be kind of good.
Hey,
Actually,
no, the XFL plays on Monday nights, don't they?
Right? Yeah.
And they have playoffs, right?
Yeah.
what about Jeremy Macklin?
Yeah, he's too old. He's coaching over there at Kirkwood. Tom Brady. I can see Brady doing it.
He's old.
Tom Brady's a beast. Ooh, here we go. Here, right here, Mike White. I can see that.
Robert Griffin.
Yeah, look, Chase Daniels or Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah, Kellen Mond was drafted by the Vikings, and he was supposed to be the heir apparent to Kirk Cousins, and he just never had a chance to develop.
Daddy, who did you used to when we were kids, when we go to Minnesota? Who did you used to face paint?
John Randall.
That's right. That's who I want back, people.
Look, this is an interesting one. I don't think Ryan Leaf could handle it. I think he could crack under the pressure. Vince Young. With Vince being 40, do you remember when Vince Young came into the league? He was actually good. I could see that. I could see Vince Young doing it.
What about Robert Griffin, the third?
Interesting. He's not.
Yeah.
And he was out of football so soon. He's probably still not that old, is he?
No.
Who,
I bet you he isn't much more than 30.
What y'all think about Antonio Brown?
Oh, man.
No. Ooh, Ian.
I'm totally kidding on that note. I'm kidding.
Andrew Luck. No, Andrew's too hurt with the concussions and all that stuff. You might as well. Somebody said you might as well throw Sam Bradford out there.
2012 draft was almost 10 years ago already, but one of the biggest. So yeah.
I mean, it's interesting. So I mean, that's what we're going to see in this draft. I mean, who would have thought that a guy like Josh Gordon or a guy like AJ McCarron or a guy like Vic Beasley would have been drafted to the XFL? No, those guys were on nobody's radars.
Do you think Kirkland will be back with Houston, or do you think he might be up for?
What about Matt Leinart? How old is he?
Ooh, that's a good question. But
Matt Leinart was another quarterback that big time underachieved, but he was a lefty. It'd be kind of cool to have some lefties in the league.
He's 40.
That's probably too old then.
Yeah, he's 40.
I want to.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, but did you guys really think though that we would see guys like that in this XFL? Like Vic Beasley, AJ McCarron, Josh Gordon, stuff like that.
I think the problem you have there though is that if you really want your league to be touted as that league that can get you back into the dance, you really can't afford to have too many skill positions filled up with players that are over the hill. You need those young players that are still trying to fulfill their dreams, Well,
and Sandy brings up the really good point. I think they're going to look for the newer talent from college. And I think that's probably what they're going to do.
Yeah, they definitely are going to be doing that because they talked about it. But let's not forget we have to sell tickets. And if the Vipers or any of these other teams, besides St. Louis, needed to get people in the stands, if they can get someone with a name as their quarterback, they're going to do it. They're going to get them on board. They may not start every game, but they're going to get them on board because you're also looking at getting someone whose name is out there who did something in the XFL is going to be there. May not be the starter as a quarterback, but he is going to help them out, and he's going to help out those young guys. And so I think that's going to continue to happen. It may not be a lot of people, but it's going to be. We're going to recognize some names that that we're hopefully mentioning right now, that everybody's mentioning.
So here's another question I have.
Okay.
It's kind of interesting. Ta'amu was, for all intents and purposes, the MVP of the league, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think the championship game, I think he was hurt, and I think it really took away from his passing for that game. So now, fast forward, he's was invited to the Vikings camp, and there would be absolutely no reason why the Vikings wouldn't sign him. Why would you not sign him? So the fact that they didn't, and you don't hear him being called by any other teams, is there more to the hand injury than we know?
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point, Daddy Ed. Big Daddy Ed. That's a very good point. I don't know. But my thing with the whole NFL and quarterbacks is you have to fit a system. You have to fit in that system. You know what I'm saying? And certain coaches only want certain types of quarterbacks to fit into their systems, right?
Well, yeah, but the Vikings were all about trying to find that running quarterback. They had Teddy Bridgewater until he completely blew his leg out and was never the same after. I mean, pretty much anybody in the league, they're looking for the running quarterback. That's the new wave.
I would agree with John here. If you did have Jordan as your starter, they would possibly get to the playoffs and maybe further into playoffs, I think, if they had him as their quarterback. That's just my opinion.
That's why I'm just totally confused as why the Vikings haven't already signed him. I mean, if nothing else, he'd be the backup quarterback because the guy you drafted this year out of Brigham Young, he's not going to be ready for a backup quarterback role. So why wouldn't you just automatically sign Ta'amu as your backup? It just doesn't make any sense to me. That's why I'm wondering, is there more to the hand injury than we know?
Right, that's true.
In my opinion, Jordan is better than Kurt. Kurt is washed.
Okay, on that note, because we had technical difficulties, we're already at an hour, and I'm sweating my sack off in this studio of mine. But we have a very big week here in the X-Fan Legion. Monday night, Big Daddy Ed, are you ready? Are you ready for this?
I am ready.
Because Big Papa G, listen to this. Monday night, or actually tomorrow at 11 o'clock Central Standard Time, right on the X-Fan Show, myself, the next Vegas head coach for the Vegas Vipers, and my esteemed co-host Arlington Lane is going to be interviewing Ricky Prohl of the St. Louis Battlehawks wide receiver coach. Thanks to our producer over here, the Queen Hyena, who got us that. Oh, I would love to see Marcus Mariota in the XFL League. So that is tomorrow at 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. We are going to have Ricky Prohl on the show with me and Arlington. And then Monday, Big Daddy Ed, are you ready?
Yes, we are having a return interview with Chris Claiborne, the defensive linebacker coach for the St. Louis Battlehawks. If you remember earlier in the season, Amanda and I went downtown before the game, day before the game, had a kick-ass interview with him, and ended up having technical difficulties that we knew nothing about till the interview was done.
Well, welcome to the BHawk live show. We always have some kind of technical
So he has agreed to come back on, and we got it's going to be an awesome interview. Can't wait.
And Amanda, Wednesday at 8:10, following the XFL rookie draft, who do we have joining us next Wednesday?
We have David Bowler, everybody.
For you guys who don't know who David Bowler is, he is the player personnel director of the St. Louis Battlehawks. He will be on the show. So a very, very busy week here in the X-Fan Legion for BHawk Live, X-Fan Show. Draft Friday night. Yes, Chris, the draft is Friday night. So we're going to break that down with Ricky Prohl tomorrow, me and Arlington. And then on Monday, me and Daddy Ed will break down how they went through the draft and all of that stuff with Chris Claiborne. Yes, Ricky Prohl did make the most famous catch in St. Louis football history. Good job. Okay. We can just take that off now.
Thank you, Russ. I appreciate it. You won't give me credit, but that's okay.
We are broadcasting in the Wild Sun Studios right through here. Right through the sun is the Wild Sun. Go out there, Hillsboro, Missouri. What do you like to call it, Big Daddy Ed?
The Napa Valley Quality Winery that just happens to be located in the suburbs of St. Louis and Hillsboro, Missouri.
And on that note, Amanda's kicking ass. These people.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Big Papa G, thank you for joining us, buddy.
Thanks, Big
and
Papa
also, we've got some live shows that are going to be coming directly from Wild Sun Winery, and we've got some people at Wild Sun that are lined up to come on and tell you a little bit about their winery and their brewery. And
I said I know about that one now.
I was about to ask you. That was my question to the group. Was like, when's the live ones happening? Because I want to be at the live ones if I'm not out there. So that way I can bring some music and we can have some fun and maybe hopefully technical difficulties.
well, you know what's good about that? What's good about that, Big Papa G, is that the evening that they're open every week is on Friday night. So that's right up Papa G's alley, isn't it?
As long as I'm not booked, I'm good. And I'm not trying to get booked up as much right now with this new traveling position. So I'm hoping that I can be somewhere in July with all BattleHawk fans, but I'll be there even if I'm playing music for the BattleHawks or if I'm being with you guys. I'll definitely be out there in July.
Well, this is BHawk Live. Oh, there we go. Sandy goes, I'm not far. Oh, look at this. Joe says Wild Sun has some good wine and pizza.
Yes, they do.
Anything else? Do you guys want to say anything else before we go? Because I have bat wings starting to happen, and I'm starting to sweat to death.
Yeah,
I
real
wanna-
quick, I just want to tell
Tune in
everybody
tomorrow.
that we are all getting together to see the Cardinals and the Mets play. And we're going to be there, and we're going to be taking pictures and showing everybody in the next month or so. 2 months.
That's awesome. And now what everybody wants to see, they want to see Dirty dive through that sun and disappear. Go for it. If you can make beer disappear, you can make. Hey, look at that.
Whoa. On that note, people, it is time to go.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you at the special time on Monday. What time's that going to be, Amanda? Do you know?
On Monday at 8 o'clock, people. 8
o'clock. Interview will start at about 8:15.
See you then.
Peace out, everybody.